Hi everyone. Welcome to another session of the Flipside webinar series. My name is Teresa Adams and I will be your moderator for this evening. Before we get started, I would like to give you a brief introduction to what Pick a Book is. Pick a Book is an organization that encourages the reading habit by getting members to select a book, research it thoroughly, and present a summary of it. This will not only hone his or her public speaking skills, but also their communication and presentation skills. By this, Pick a Book inculcates the habit of reading and helps impart knowledge. Currently, Pick a Book is in 4 countries, namely Sri Lanka, India, the UK, and Singapore within just a span of 1 year. They have more than 600 readers spread to 18 regions and have inspired 30,000 people. Pick a Book is continuing to spread its wings across the whole globe. Now, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Teresa Adams and I'm 14 years old. I study at Ladies College, Colombo, and I'm a swimmer, a water polo player, and I also do Model United Nations. I love to read mystery novels, and my favorite authors are Agatha Christie, J.K. Rowling, and Angie Thomas. Now, let me introduce our 2 wonderful panelists for today. Our first panelist is Andrea Raithirokuma. She is 12 years old and attends Ladies College, Colombo. She enjoys swimming, artistic swimming, snorkeling, bodyboard surfing, water skiing, and badminton. During her leisure time, she loves to read books and bake. Her favorite author is Nat Lertsema. Today, she will be presenting the book Girl Out of Water by Nat Lertsema. Hi, Andrea. Okay, moving on. Our next panelist is Urvi Pereira. She's 14 years old and loves to read books, swim, paint, sing, and write. She has a home library where she shares her books with all her friends, as well as the neighborhood kids. Today, she will be presenting Traveling Cat Chronicles by Hiro Arikawa. Hello, Urvi.
Hi.
Okay, now we will be moving on to the main session of the flip side today. My first question is to Andrea. Now, every time there is some motivation or something that draws us to read a book, so what exactly made you read Girl Out of Water? Okay, I believe Andrea is having a few technical difficulties, so I will move on to Urvi. So Urvi, what exactly does the story Traveling Cat Chronicles talk about?
So, hi again, everyone. I'm Urvi Pereira and I'm 14 years old. So, what does the story talks about? The story talks about a cat named Nana and a young man named Satoru Miyawaki. The cat is the one who tells most of the story with flashes of Satoru's past. The cat talks about his perspective on Satoru's life and happenings at the moment, while the flashes shows us Satoru's friends, his adventures and challenges. Mainly, the story talks about Nana and Satoru traveling, looking for someone to take care of Nana as Satoru can't keep his cat anymore under unavoidable circumstances.
Thank you, Urvi. That seems like a very interesting book, and I'm pretty sure our audience will love to read it too. Next, we have our question for Andrea. Every time there is some motivation or something that draws us to a book. So what made you read Girl Out of Water? Okay, I believe she's still having a few technical difficulties. So I will move on to the second question for Urvi. Like all fiction stories, there are many characters in it. So in the Traveling Cat Chronicles, who are the main characters in the story?
So, Nana is the cat, the narrator of the story, and a very intelligent, sensitive, and an emotional as well as Um, an adventurous cat who most of the time likes to give pep talks to his owner. Then Satoru Miyawaki, 23-year-old man, a cat lover with a kind and an emotional, as well as adventurous qualities with who spends a challenging life. And Kosuke Sawada, Satoru's first ever best friend. Kosuke has strict parents, especially his dad. He runs a photography studio. And Hachi, Satoru's first ever cat who died from a car accident. And then Diago Yoshimin, he's Satoru's best friend in junior high school, whose parents are divorced and live with his grandmother. He loves gardening and he's the one who started a gardening club with Satoru at school. He's a farmer now. Then Sugi and Chikako. They are Satoru's high school best friends who later goes to the same college. Sugi is more of a dog person who secretly envied Satoru for his good qualities. Chikako is an animal lover and had lots of cats and dogs at her house. Now, these two are married and run a guest house called Bed and Breakfast together with their dog Toramaru and cat Momo. And last but not least, Noriko. She's Satoru's mom's younger sister, which means she's Satoru's aunt. She takes Satoru into her care after his parents died. She constantly moves from one city to another, and that's why Satoru gets to change his school a lot. She's a very lovely person.
Thank you, Urvi. Those seem like very interesting characters with each of them having different personalities. And I think I would mostly relate to the characters who love dogs because I'm a huge dog person. Now we see that Andrea's back. So, Andrea, here's your first question. Every time there is some motivation or something that draws us to read a book, what made you read Girl Out of Water?
Yes, hi everyone. I'm Andrea Raithirokuma, and I'm so sorry about the technical issue. Yes, back to Chisa's question. With the ongoing lockdown and missing the swimming pool and the ocean, I was looking for a book that would cheer me. I was very fortunate to be gifted with The Girl Out of Water by Nat Lerdstemmer. The epilogue was intriguing. It is a storyline of a hilarious young girl named Lou Brown. She had me crying with laughter and at end with her throughout the book.
Thank you, Andrea. Yes, even I'm a swimmer, and I too miss the pool very much. And I would see why you would read this book, looking at the title itself. Now, the next question is also for you, Andrea. Could you summarize the book Girl Out of Water for us, please?
Yes. The book Girl Out of Water is told with a lot of humor and it is very easy to read. The story is written in the first person perspective, and Lou is constantly making funny remarks and jokes, which keeps the whole tone of the book light, despite the different socially traumatic things that happen to her. Lou Brown has only one goal in life: to become an Olympic swimmer, along with her one and only friend, Hannah, who is also a swimmer. When Lou fails to make it in the heats to get into the prestigious high performance training camp, and Hannah does, she is left with no swimming lessons, no best friend to hang around with, and no purpose to her life. Lou Brown finds that starting again is never easy, particularly when she is the odd one out in a family of insanely beautiful people and a school full of social groups way too intimidating to join. Where does she go from here? Finding a new thing turns out to be the biggest challenge Lou's ever faced and opens a whole new world of underwater somersaults and crazy talent shows. When she agrees to help a trio of the school's most popular boys develop a synchronized swimming routine for a TV's talent contest.
Thank you, Andrea. That seems like a very humorous book from what you explained to us. And also, any swimmer's dream is to go to the Olympics, like both of us, I believe. And also, when we do not do perform well in our trials, I think it's the same way we feel, such as Lou. And also, I think the most humorous bit is boys trying to do synchronized swimming, which I find very hilarious. Now, Urvi, this next question is for you. So the book Traveling Cat Chronicles is classified as animal fiction, and this book seems to have a lot of adventures. What are the main adventures and challenges that the main character faces in the story?
So, in adventures, I chose two adventures from the story. When Kasuk's parents don't allow him to keep Hachi in their house, he and Satoru run away and climb to the roof of an elementary school. And Satoru declares that if Kosuk isn't allowed to keep the cat in his house, Kosuk would jump off the roof. This is all Satoru's plan, even though they are about 11 years old, and they spread a worry and shout among the parents who were just about to call on the fire truck to rescue the boys. Another time, Satoru and Yoshimin run and try to sneak away from the hotel while they were going on a school trip and catch a train to see Hachi the cat while the school teachers and the guards try to catch the boys. And about the challenges, uh, Satoru suffers from cancer. He lost his parents due to a car accident when he was small. He lost his first ever cat, Hachi, also due to a car accident without ever getting a chance to see him. The biggest challenge he faces throughout the story is finding someone to take care of Nana as he has to go to the hospital.
Thank you, Urvi. The adventures sounded really exciting and funny, and the challenges were quite heartbreaking, especially when you lose a pet and family members. That could be very sad. Now, Andrea, here's your next question. Everyone has a favorite character in a book they read, even if we don't sometimes like admitting it. So, who is your favorite character from Girl Out of Water and why?
Lou Brown for certain. She is intelligent, hilarious, and incredibly entertaining. Her inner monologue often refers to how awkward she feels as a young woman with an athletic body. She is not particularly self conscious, but is aware that she is towering and muscular. Lou uses humor in awkward situations, which only endeared me to her character further. When things get doubly hard for her at school without her only friend Hannah, as Lou is classed as a social outcast and no one wants to sit with her, let alone talk to her. Lou is determined to make the best of school and make new friends.
Thank you, Andrea. I think any swimmer or any athlete for that matter could relate with Lou, especially when all of us have very busy schedules with swimming meets and swimming training, and we don't really have time to make as much friends as we would like. So I think any athlete could relate to Lou especially. Urvi, this is your next question. What is the most heartbreaking and eye-misting moment in this story?
So it's when Satoru has to go to the hospital and he couldn't take Nana with him. His cancer has grown worse, and doctor says that his life is coming to an end. His aunt brings the cat to see Satoru one day, but Nana runs away and hides somewhere near the hospital. So the cat goes on his own to see Satoru then onwards. Then the news comes that Satoru is in the ICU and is near to drawing his last breath when Nana breaks into the room and jump onto Satoru's motionless body and lick his bony fingers as Satoru draws his last breath while saying thank you. And in my opinion, I think this is where the book becomes a sharp sword to the reader's hearts, and I hope that it'll feel the same if you read it too.
Thank you, Audrey. I personally don't like reading sad stories because I always end up in tears at the end of it. And I'm pretty sure if I read this book too, and when I get to this moment, I will break down in tears. Andrea, here's your next question. So, most of the time, we pick a book that we have a bit of an understanding about or we relate to in a certain way. In which way did Girl Out of Water relate to you?
With pleasure. The paragraph that reads, I quote, the official nods, and I bend into my dive, wrapping my fingertips over the edge of the block and swaying gently to loosen my hips. There is a pause that feels never ending, and I focus on the spot in the water where I want my dive to take me. The starting pistol bangs. There is an explosion of power from my legs, and I dive hard. I can hear the block rattle as I push away from it with all my strength. A cold, hard slap against my thighs, and I spring into butterfly stroke. I whip my arms up and over my head. My fingers cut into the water in front of my face as my arms pull down. My hips tilt and my legs kick together like a mermaid's tail. Unquote. The author has detailed this moment accurately. As I too being a swimmer myself, I go through this emotion each time I take to the starting block, and butterflies in the stomach are so real. Also, the fact that you tend to have best friends of similar interests. It is important, like I stated by Lou, you need to have spare friends with varied interests and talents so that you will always have a friend no matter what the situation you face.
Thank you, Andrea. I can totally agree with you on the feeling we get before we jump into the pool, whether it be at a practice or even at a swimming meet. We always have that nervousness just before we enter the water. But after we do, we feel perfectly fine and manage to sprint our way to the end. Now, Urvi, this is the last question for you. What are the good points that you think can come handy in your life?
Well, it's pretty hard to find points in here as the cat talks a lot, unless you grab a shovel and dig it up. So, the first thing is instead of envying a person for their good qualities, try to be good yourself. Trust the people who you care and care for you. It's useless holding on to things that we know we'll have to let go someday. And we will all leave this world behind one day, so live a life you'll remember full of adventures and fun, plus everything else.
Thank you, Urvi. Those are certainly some good points that we need to apply in our lives. And I believe it is true when you said that it's hard to get qualities or good points from a book that's narrated by a cat, by any animal for that matter. And it's great that you found these points from that. And Andrea, this is the last question for you too. Now, most books are written so that the reader would gain something out of it and use it in his or her day to day lives. What is the main takeaway you get from Girl Out of Water?
Um, I would like to say, like Lou Brown, however depressing or lonely the situation she was in, she was determined to overcome her issues. She made it her mission to make friends, and she designed a plan in her mind how she was going to make friends. Having a wide circle of friends with different interests certainly helps. Also, the fact that she didn't dwell in self pity but was open minded and accepted a life of forced swimming. She was able to accept the request from a trio of boys who wanted to help to learn synchronized swimming to participate at Britain's Got Talent. Uh, Britain's Hidden Talent. She was able to channel her love for swimming into another form of water sport. It is important that we too, when faced with disappointment, we keep an open mind and follow and allow our minds to hear the next door to opportunity to open.
Thank you, Andrea. Those are also very good points that we must take. And also, I think, especially since this lockdown, we all have to change our interests due to us not getting into a pool or training for a certain sport or doing what we would usually do pre pandemic. So I believe that that was a very important point, and thank you for bringing that out. Now we have come to the end of our session. I would first like to thank our two amazing panelists, Andrea and Urvi, for presenting two wonderful books. I would also like to thank everybody who was watching, and we hope everyone was inspired by the two books presented today. Lastly, I would like to thank Pick a Book for the opportunity given to us and the amazing work done across the globe. Now over to you, Andrea and Urvi.
Uh, I also would like to thank Pickbook for the opportunity and thank you, Urvi of PAB OGF Team Club and Teresa Adams, our moderator for this evening. To all those participants joining us online, thank you, stay safe, and God bless.
I would also like to thank every one of you for joining this live Facebook Live to watch us present these books, and I thank for Andrea Raithirokuma for presenting such a lovely book, and then Teresa Adams from Pick a Book OGF Club for being such a lovely moderator. And I also thank for Pick a Book for giving us this opportunity for show ourselves to the public. And I also thank for our lovely audience for your time. Stay safe and take care.